Hello, and welcome to today's Parent Chat. We are going to be talking about ways to increase your child's friendship skills. My name is Rihanna Ridman. I'm an infant and early childhood mental health consultant at Children's Resource Center. The strategies that we're going to talk about today are all evidence-based strategies from DECA that will increase initiative, self-regulation, and attachment, and decrease any kind of challenging behaviors or decrease behavior concerns. The first evidence-based strategy is called prompting. So prompting is just providing a suggestion for a child when they might need some extra help or support to either join, play with another child, or to start an activity. So a couple examples of verbal prompts. They can be indirect or they can be direct prompts. So a direct prompt would be just telling them something that they could do. So you could hold the pan while I sweep the floor. An indirect prompt could be something like, what should we clean up first? Or do you want to clean up the blocks or the dolls first? And that's really just prompting them to get them started with whatever activity it is that they're going to do next. Another prompt could be to join play. So either with a sibling or with another kiddo in their classroom, you could prompt them by saying, you could hold the bridge while your friend or your brother drives the truck underneath it. So that way it kind of gives them an idea of how to join that play when they're maybe not sure. The next strategy is modeling. So we can use modeling to help children learn new behaviors. So either sharing or taking turns. And sharing and taking turns, sometimes those words are used interchangeably, but really they mean two different things. So we can model for children what it means to share. So we can, if we have a lot of toys in front of us, we can tell them that we're going to share because we have a lot and we're going to give them one or two of the toys that I have. While I still have toys left to play with, we can share and give them some as well. Modeling is really just demonstrating the words and actions that you want children to adopt. So children really are watching and seeing everything that we are doing. They are repeating the things that we are saying. So we can really be that example or that model for them to use kind words or use a quiet voice. We can help them by modeling to keep our hands to ourselves. So if your child is maybe pushing, we can say, well, you wanted him to move, so tell him, please move. So we're modeling those words to use so that they can problem solve in a more positive way. The next strategy is teaching turn taking. So again, with modeling, we have to practice turn taking with children before we can expect them to know how to do that with their peers. So we can model by using the language, well, it's my turn now, so I'm going to play with this toy, and maybe either using a timer or just saying in a couple minutes, then it will be your turn to play with a toy. And then, holding your hand out with them when you're saying, it's my turn, and then waiting for them to give the toy to you, or, having them hold their hand out for you when you're going to give the toy to them for their turn. So again, just modeling that turn taking with them and helping them through that when they are doing it either at home or at school. You can kind of stay close to them and help them, coach them through that taking turns. Wow, you gave him the toy and he's playing with it for 2 minutes, and now when your turn is done, it will be the next person's turn. The next strategy is pairing children. So pairing children or partnering children would be just to match children intentionally to do a task, to complete the routine, or start an activity or a project together. And usually one child is knows that skill or has that skill already, and then the other child is going to learn from the skills of the other child, and then it also strengthens their relationship. So having two kiddos partner together to they can help each other finish cleaning. Maybe they can play a game of cleaning up, who can put as many toys in the basket. They can zip their coats up with each other before they head outside. Or, sometimes in the classroom, they might have a buddy that they hold hands with as they walk back to the classroom. Or they have a buddy that they sit next to at circle. Or again, if it's at home, the buddy could be their older sibling, someone that can help them with those skills. Maybe if they already have the skill of cleaning up, they know what comes next or where the toys go, they can match with their sibling or partner with their sibling to help put the rest of the toys away. The next strategy is called friendship cues, and clues. And these are just visuals that can help children remember either family rules, house rules, or rules at school. So having those visuals for children to look back on and take that cue of, so the rule is to have a quiet voice, or the rule is to make sure our listening ears are on. And also it helps with problem solving. So if we have visuals that tell us that these are the positive options. So if I have a toy and another friend wants to play with that toy, what are my options? Well, one, I could say play together, or another option could be take turns, or another option could be, you know, asking nicely to play with that toy. So having those visuals can really help children when they're struggling maybe with the words to use. They can look at that picture and say, oh yeah, this is a good idea, maybe I'll try this one. Another option is feeling stories and helpful hints. So these are, we call these social stories, and it is a story that is written and illustrated with either clip art or pictures, drawings, or photos. You could take pictures of your child doing a specific activity, and it's really a scripted story or even cue cards to help children cope with those big feelings about a specific activity. So maybe we would write a social story about, when I'm feeling frustrated, I can stop, take a deep breath, and relax. When I'm angry, I can get a drink of water. Or when I'm angry, I can listen to some music or listen to a sound machine. And these social stories we can read them repeatedly, every day if it takes that. So that way those children are learning different calm down strategies, different coping skills. And also social stories could be about specific behaviors. So if the child is having a hard time with washing hands, we can write a social story about the steps it takes to wash hands. Or maybe a friend is having a hard time with personal space, or maybe in a line or getting close to others in a line, maybe they're pushing. So we could write a social story about how we stand in a line. So when I stand in a line, I keep my hands to myself. I put my hands at my sides, and I wait for the person in front of me to start moving, and then it's my turn to walk. The next strategy is perspective taking. So perspective taking is really a way to teach children empathy. And empathy is a skill that we really have to teach children in order for them to understand that other people have different perspectives than their own. So in order to learn the skill of empathy, we have to first show empathy to the children. So we can talk to children about what they're feeling, what they're thinking. And to do this, we kind of have to put aside our own feelings or thoughts about the situation. So if we see a child that maybe pushes another child, I'm going to put my kind of thoughts aside and really ask them, what were you feeling in that moment when you push your friend or push your brother? I might have an idea of what I think could have happened, but it's really important to listen to their perspective and their story, so that we can kind of teach them that empathy and that skill, that, you know, their perspective might be different than my own, or their perspective might be different than the person's that they pushed. So, you know, if they did push a friend, we might even ask the friend how they felt when they were pushed. Did you like that? Oh no, that hurt my feelings when I was pushed. So next time we're going to try again, and we're going to use a different way. We're going to ask them nicely to please move. And then another strategy is encouragement. So really this is just praising. We can really praise the positive behaviors that we're seeing. So any behavior that we see either in the classroom or at home, that those are the behaviors that we want to see more of, we can really encourage those behaviors. So we can encourage when the child is cleaning up after themselves, or when they are playing nicely with others. So those are those friendship skills that we really want to see more of. So when we see them sharing or taking turns with a friend, we can really encourage that by praising them. And one thing about praise is it's really helpful if we are specific. So it's one thing to say good job or that's awesome, but it's another thing to say, wow, you did such a great job sharing your toys. That was so kind of you. So that way they're really understanding what it is that was kind. It was kind because I shared my toys. So that way we can encourage those specific behaviors that we want to see more of. Lastly, I have this resource page. You can email me at rihannar@crcwoodcounty.org. There are resources that we can provide for you if you're looking for a specific social story like we talked about, whether it's a social story about what I can do when I'm feeling angry, a social story about keeping my hands to myself. You can email me and I can find one that would work for you, or we can write one together. The evidence-based strategies come from DECA, so that's the Devereaux Center for Resilient Children. If you go online and look up the Devereaux Center for Resilient Children, they have a lot of resources that can be helpful for challenging behaviors or just for learning how to increase initiative or attachment in relationships. Lastly, I have the Teachers Pay Teachers website on here. You can find social stories on the Teachers Pay Teachers website that are free, or if you want, you can pay for them. And then lastly, just like us on Facebook at CRC Infant and Early Childhood Connection, and follow us on YouTube, our YouTube channel, and you can see more of these videos. Thanks.